Love this podcast? Support this show through the Acast supporter feature. It's up to you how much you give, and there's no regular commitment. Just click the link in the show description to support now.
You're locked in.
Look at what we have here, folks.
To the only show that matters.
The cream of the crop.
Duke loves wrestling.
And there is no one that does it better than
your host.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
The Duke.
And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Hi, this is Earl Oliver from Sully's Vintage Wrestling.
This is Raj Giri with WrestlingInc.com.
This is Sean Reed, boxing writer and undercover low-key wrestling fan. And you're listening to Duke Loves Wrestling. Woo!
You know, folks, it's really been a crazy time in pro wrestling, and this past week, it's like the entire business has been turned upside down, and hopefully we are moving in a direction for the better. I mean, you know, everybody's getting called out who has been a sexual abuser, a harasser, somebody who has essentially painted the wrestling industry in a negative light through their negative actions, whether it be toward fans or really towards talents. And this is all aspects of wrestling. I mean, from wrestlers to trainers, bookers, you name it, male, female, everything in between. Survivors of this stuff have come out and they've spoken out about this. So now that we've torn down these systems and we've literally said enough is enough, where do we go from here? So I reached out to some friends of the show, some folks that I truly believe in, and you know, as far as I'm concerned, they're doing the right thing. What I didn't see coming was a major announcement regarding what they're doing with their independent wrestling promotion and how they're going to ensure that they maintain a safe space for wrestlers and fans to enjoy the product. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, right? So I got my friends, Thunder Rosa, you know, Mel Cervantes, and her husband, Brian. Okay, so I'm going to talk to both of these folks, but I'm going to start off with Brian because he has a groundbreaking announcement to make. And what better place to do it than here on the Duke Loves Wrestling podcast? So without further ado, welcome to the show, Brian. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. And listen, Brian, you know, you're one of my favorite people to talk to on a regular basis. I really respect your mind and the way that you view pro wrestling, but not only that, life in general. You're truly just a breath of fresh air. You're a good person. I'm taken aback by what you're about to announce here. So I'm going to shut up and please, the mic is all yours. What is your major announcement regarding the promotion Mission Pro Wrestling?
Well, basically, my announcement for Mission Pro Wrestling, and Thunder Rosa can explain to you more in detail later, is I fired myself this week.
You fired yourself? I mean, what the heck does that mean, Brian? What do you mean you fired yourself?
Basically, I'm on the market looking for a new job, you know. So, well, in all honesty, with all the situation that you talked about, the changes, and with everyone coming out with all the horrible stories, I just felt it was time to give women a bigger platform. So I decided to step down and turn the reins over to Thunder Rosa. One of my last jobs before I did that, though, was to also replace myself by hiring a female booker for the promotion also, Miss Robyn Reed. So basically, Thunder and Robyn and whoever else they decide to bring in are taking over the promotion completely. It's just it's an opportunity to give them a platform to showcase women, what women can do in the business as far as just running a promotion, you know, give them opportunities that normally they don't get.
Brian, this is a very unusual thing to do. I don't know too many people that would actually fire themselves from a successful company and a company that people actually feel good about. I mean, you guys have really done a great job. You've built a great reputation in the wrestling industry as quality, safe people to do business with. What is it about what's going on today that's driven you to this point?
The stories, man. It's just, I mean, I've always been a huge supporter of like trying to bring intergender wrestling. You know, when I used to be the owner of Sabotage, I think we ran like pretty much 2 of the first intergender shows of all time. But then now I look back at it as like, and I'm not against intergender wrestling or against men in general, but I just wanted to give a true platform for women to feel safe in their environment. Not to say that, you know, we don't include men at all, or I mean, it's up to them if they want to include men later on and stuff like that. But I just wanted to give them the power to be able to do something that's special, you know, from operating the cameras to giving them roles in the business that they don't normally have, you know, like editing, producing. We're finding out it's harder and harder to fill all these positions because a lot of women haven't been qualified in it. But we are trying to look and find those positions and fill those positions.
So, Brian, let me ask you from a fan standpoint, because at the end of the day, that's what I am. Are you saying that you do not want men to consume the product, to watch the product, to talk about it, to purchase merchandise, what have you? Are you telling male fans to stay away?
No, not at all. You know, of course we want to include men, and they possibly will have men on the show later on and stuff like that. But we want to give them a solid platform to be able to showcase their talents just for once, you know, to see, you know, this is produced. The stories come from all women, you know, without any man having an influence on the storyline. One of the first things when I gave over the duties to my wife, Thunder, is the booking and Robyn, and they started asking me questions. I was like, no. Don't ask me any questions. Because all the stories, you know, from Shimmer to Shine or Stardom, all these female companies always have a man at the top of it who puts his influence in too much. I want to give them the power to say, no, this is 100% all woman, with the ideals to the story to the creative aspect of it, you know, without having to, I have to put my final stamp on it. Like, oh no, you can't do that. Oh, this is wrong. No, let them run with it and let's see what they got.
Folks, this is incredible. I mean, legitimately, I've never heard of this before. This is breaking news here. You literally have, you know, Brian Cervantes, who is somebody who has been at the forefront of women's wrestling and really trying to deliver the best women's wrestling product out there and creating a safe space for everybody, wrestlers, fans, everybody, to be able to enjoy top-notch quality women's wrestling. This guy is removing himself from his own family business so that women can be officially 100% in the driver's seat, can be the ones running the show. And it's not a gimmick. It's not a joke. This is legitimately what you're going to get from Mission Pro Wrestling. It's an incredible concept, and I can't wait to see it in execution. So let's transition now. And Brian, I thank you for you explaining that. And stick around, though, because we may need you a little later. But let's transition over to the real world champion, legitimately one of the hottest stars in pro wrestling, someone who has backed down from no challenges. She's taken some of your favorite stars to the limit. She's kicked all the asses. We're talking about the one, the only Thunder Rosa. Thunder, how you doing?
Man, you put me over so hard. I don't know how to continue.
Well, I put you over so hard because I can't afford for you to beat me up too, you know, so I got to.
Only if you pay me the right money, I'll beat you up.
Okay, well, there's that too. But seriously, Thunder, I mean, when Brian brought this up, and you know, I understand that we're kind of breaking the fourth wall here because we're legitimately talking about your husband and giving some behind-the-scenes information here. But when he brought this up to you, what did you think initially?
I was like, bro, can I think about it? After we were reading all the stories and stuff, and like, just in retrospect, when we were running Sabotage, and like we used some of these people that were accused of abuse and harassment and everything, Brian was like, I don't think we should have any males in a locker room anymore. And you know what? I think we should have women just running the show. And I was just like, well, I think that's a pretty progressive idea. I don't think here in the United States, something like that has been done. I know in Japan, Marvelous is owned by a woman, and Sendai Girls is owned by a woman too, but I don't think it's run and produced by all women. And I think this is like, we will be the first ones in the United States to attempt and most likely succeed on this pretty cool adventure. I mean, I think it is time for us as women athletes to not only be part of a show like this, but, and start being part of a collective and start demanding what we deserve, which is like safety, which is, our own locker rooms, like the opportunity to work in different aspects of the business that is not necessarily in the ring or as performers. I mean, as a person that has worked in many different companies, I always strive for more, and I always ask questions, and I always sat in the back with producers, with editors, with everybody, because I want to learn everything. Before I started wrestling, I used to work the camera. I used to be the ring girl. I used to like put the rings together. I used to pretty much do everything from production to clean up to everything, because I knew that all those skills can translate to something else. So for us to be able to develop, to create, and to put it in practice, I think it will be really great.
Thunder, why Robyn Reed? I mean, she's a disciplinarian. She's somebody who's been all over the independent scene and just does a great job as well. What made you guys decide to bring her in to help out with this new endeavor?
Well, for all the messages, I think she posted something on Facebook saying that her time in professional wrestling is kind of dwindling down, and she wanted to have the opportunity to do more creative stuff. So Brian reached out to her and asked her if she was interested in being part of the show. She worked with us before, so we know how she is as a person, and she's a very respectable, kind-hearted human being. And I mean, I've seen her work in WoW. I worked with her in WoW. She worked in our promotion before. I see her in other shows. So I think she is very professional, because I want to work with very professional women that are willing to, kind of step down a little bit to help the new generation of women that are coming to the business to become strong, to become empowered, and not to be afraid of demand and ask what they deserve as professional wrestlers.
Thunder Rosa, you're somebody that I'm a big fan of, and we've developed a nice friendship and what have you. And I know your personal story because you shared it not only on the show but in private and what have you. Before pro wrestling, you worked in group homes and helping kids and people with some very significant problems, abuse victims and what have you. And I take that back, not abuse victims, abuse survivors.
Yes, we actually worked in the same company for a while. And then when I decided to go into professional wrestling full time, he stayed in the group homes, and he worked in group homes here in Texas. So I know you were going to ask me a question. Go ahead and ask me.
And I appreciate you pointing that out. You both come from that background. And my question to you is how has that worked with the group homes and really the individuals with these, tough backgrounds? How is that affecting and driving the way that you're going to run Mission Pro Wrestling? We
are attempting to create a space in where our female talent and female staff and, if you have male staff and we have transgender or gay, that they feel comfortable, that they feel like they can be themselves in every way, shape, or form. I don't condone, any, like a lot of the girls now, because of the COVID, they open like OnlyFans or they start doing other stuff. Like, people need to make money, and one of the things that Brian and we understand is that sometimes, given the circumstances, people are put in certain situations and where they have to, make a living, and I feel like some of the girls, before, like, they were they're private dancers, stuff like that. And they were just like, people used to talk so much smack about them and just like stigmatize them and stuff. Like, I want all our talent to feel comfortable with themselves, as long as they're not, breaking other people's boundaries. We want them to feel respected. We want them to feel comfortable, and we want them to like be part of something that they can learn and they can flourish as human beings, not only as like the professional wrestling. Professional wrestling can be taken away at any moment again because of COVID. You know, we haven't gotten out of this loop of sickness, and they can close things down, and we are on ground zero again. But it's like the fact that we're able to like give them all their skills or offer them the opportunity to work in other things that they thought they probably could never do. I mean, that will open doors. And we're gonna start on a small scale because, again, I mean, Brian is working really hard to like raise his money. I'm working really hard to raise money to get equipment, to be self-sufficient. And also Jeremiah, who's one of our really dear friends. We really believe in this, and this is how we start. We really believe in something, and we put all our money. We do our all the extra money that we can. We put it aside just to make something happen, not only for us, but for future generations. We've seen how we help all the girls when we opened Sabotage, the first show. You know, they help us out by coming to the show, spending, investing on themselves. And some of them were able to go to Japan, to Mexico. They were seen by other people. They started getting booked in California. I mean, if they remember that, maybe they probably don't remember. They don't give us credit. We don't care. At least we open doors for other people, and that's the same thing that we're trying to do. We're open doors. We're trying to open their minds, and we're trying to like inform our fans that things are changing in the wrestling business, and that although a lot of the fans don't like to get into politics, this is the time where we have to get into politics, and we have to be like, hey, this is what's happening, and it's been happening for years. And people have been silent because we were afraid. And I include myself of saying something because you were going to get blackballed. People were not going to book you, or they were going to see you as a troublemaker. So there was a lot of stuff going on. And I can tell you, some of the girls, like I noticed, because working with these kids, I noticed certain behaviors that were happening, and I noticed certain stuff without them telling me. I already knew they were being abused by their partners, that something shady was happening. Like I have to like put some other men in their place because they were talking to me stupid, or they were talking about me in a way that I didn't appreciate. And I've done it. I've done videos on Instagram, and I tell people, if you are trying to be slick and get into my DMs, and you think that I am the one who's reading these DMs, I have a team of people that read my stuff. Before it comes to me, probably 3 other people read it. So I will appreciate if you don't talk to me that way. I have a son, I have a husband, and my team, they don't appreciate that. You want to do business, great. But if you don't come at me like that. And I feel like, it is time for a change, and definitely Mission Pro Wrestling is doing that. And then I'm also part of like Wrestling Collective. One of the girls, Amanda, she's from California. She's already talking to HR representatives and attorneys, so we can create a booklet for sexual harassment and a code of conduct for different schools in the different regions of the United States. And I think this is like the first time that something like that has been ever attempted. But because this is a problem, a systematic problem for so long, I mean, women need to step up and be leaders. Not only being leaders on Twitter and putting all the stuff. Like, this is a time where we have to do the footwork, which is what's going to take a little longer, and what's going to be, we're going to probably face some sort of, some people are not going to like what we have to say, because this is to protect men and women, because both of them are being harassed and abused.
Just really incredible stuff here. We're talking to the real world champion Thunder, Rosa, and she's blown my mind with all of this. I mean, you're going to literally develop a code of conduct with HR professionals, which schools and promotions alike can not only utilize, but have something to adhere to, like real professional businesses. So this is just huge.
I started with a promotion, but the collective it's all Amanda. She's in, like I said, she's in California, and she's been so diligent about contacting other people. And I mean, I've been passing names of people that have been very outspoken on Twitter. And I'm like, you know what? She's very outspoken on Twitter. I think she would be a great leader in doing the footwork, and this other person, and just like, just passing the word. Maybe they're interested or maybe they're not. But I think if we are able to make statements on our platforms, we'll also be able to make statements in person and really, really, really do the grassroots work, which is the most difficult part of everything, because you have to convince and you have to tell people that it's going to be okay. It's going to be discomfort at the beginning, but change needs to happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I want to go back to something that you said, and I just want to make sure I get this clear here, because it's very easy to fall into the trappings of men and women. But we have a whole LGBTQ plus community out there. We have non-binary folks and what have you. So I want to ask you this directly. Will Mission Pro Wrestling, this promotion that's going to be completely operated by women and be a safe space, will you have transgender wrestlers? Is this going to be a safe space for all of the LGBTQ plus community as well?
Absolutely. We're inclusive. Just because we want to have other staff and talent to be females doesn't mean that we won't, hire transgender, gay, and other men. Because right now, honestly, it's been a little difficult to find people that are trained and they're able to do a wrestling show, because doing a wrestling show is different than just putting another regular show, and I'm talking about how to record, how to take pictures, the lighting, everything. It's so much different than your typical taping or your regular shows because of the movement and sports and everything. So a lot of my peers, males, have come up and been like, hey, Thunder, we are super excited about what you're doing. We want to help you as much as we can. Just let us know what to do. And honestly, we'll be like, you need to train a girl ASAP, somebody you trust, a student, and just train her how to edit, train her how to record, do this, and then help us out also by guiding me what classes do I need to take, what are the things that I need to do, or what are the things that I need to tell the people that are going to be working with me, so we can become educated and proficient on what we're trying to do. Again, we're trying to be self-sufficient, so we're not spending thousands of dollars on production and editing and all that stuff. Because again, we would like to make money on selling tickets and merchandise and everything else, but we also want to give opportunities that not nowhere else of these women can get. I've been so blessed the last 6 years that I've been able to network with people from Europe, from Japan, from Mexico, from you name it, Canada. What can you say? Maybe in the future we can, do something with another promotion in another country, and one or two girls from our promotion that have been working with us, like developmental kind of thing, they can go somewhere else. You never know. It's just like the world is our playground, and the more support we get and the more we develop this, more blessings for me, for my family, for everybody that is working will come. Believe me that. I always believe in that. Where there's a will, there's a way, and it will happen. It's not about, hey, pay me $50 for this tryout and you maybe go somewhere or maybe give you a spot. We ain't gonna try to do that. If it's gonna be like that, might as well open a school and start training girls, and guys. But I really do want to empower other women to become business women, because this is a business. You can make a living by wrestling. I've been so blessed for the last 4 years. I have not had to work a regular 9-to-5 job. I'm talking about to my friends now about investing money, about buying a house, about, maybe taking other classes that is going to help me to build my brand even bigger. I trademark my name. People think that wrestling is just in the ring. It's more than being in the ring. And this is the mentality that we're trying to ingrain in the new generations, because that's what's going to empower them. That's when they go to the big leagues, they're not going to get eaten by the big companies. And they're going to be like, you know what? No, this is what I deserve. This is my contract. Let me talk to my lawyer. You're not going to do me like that because I want to be branded WWE or AEW. No, they're going to know what they're worth. And that's a problem that we had. So many people are working and they're so unhappy working in the big companies because they're not making what they need to make. They're just sitting down there struggling with money. It shouldn't be that way.
There's something about freedom. There's something about being someone who, is fearless and not afraid to just speak truth to power. And when you are free, and when you are free and you know your worth, then you talk that talk. And Thunder Rosa, you walk the walk and you talk the talk. And that's what I really appreciate about you. I want to ask you a question about another aspect of the business, and something that I know Mission Pro Wrestling have been taken seriously and is going to continue to do so. Custom matches. And first of all, can you define what custom matches are? If somebody were to ask you for just a brief definition, what is a custom match?
It's a private shoot, and customers will request certain matches that they're interested in having, and they purchase them. They pay a certain price depending on the time, what kind of match they want, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I worked in many different companies doing many different types of custom matches. I told Brian this is a project that I had for, 3 years now. Since the beginning. Like my whole thing, I wanted to run that. But I wasn't ready. I was too lazy, It's always like something, right? You make excuses. And COVID came and I was like, I got no excuses. I got to make it happen, right? So I'm really blessed. Like I said, my team is really blessed to work with really smart, intelligent people that help me in the things that I have shortcomings, like creating a website. I talked about it, and we just did our first shoot 2 weeks ago, which was very successful, actually. We didn't have like that many, but the matches that we had, they were great. They were all pro style matches. The ladies were asked 50,000 times before we said yes to the scripts. Again, our customers know, and we have it on our thing, that we're not using any nobody that is under the age of 18, and also there is absolutely no nudity or none of like inappropriate things to be asked in the match. In terms of like our girls or our talent feeling comfortable on doing certain moves or whatever, we always ask them their first, because we want to make sure they feel comfortable, that they feel safe, and we also want to make sure they come back and work for us. Right, we take care of them, and so we have our first shoot, and all the customers were really respectful. I mean, they know who I am, and I honestly, like, when I didn't like that, I was like, give me your number, so I'm gonna call you. Like, that's how serious I take this. If I don't like something, I'll be like, hey man, you know what, I don't think it's gonna fly. So that's how serious I take it. Just make sure there's no miscommunication. And like I said, we're very professional. The turnaround was really fast, and our customers give us great feedback for our first shoot. And we want to keep doing it. Again, this is another way, another avenue where a lot of the girls, young girls, green girls, veterans are able to make a living. And it's not necessarily being in front of a crowd. And right now with the COVID, a lot of the big companies are doing the same thing. They're wrestling in front of cameras. The same thing. It's just a fan or a customer creates a script, and that's how the script goes. It's pretty much the same thing. We're planning to do more shoots in the next couple of months, and the girls were actually really happy. A lot of the girls haven't wrestled in like 3-4 months, and this is the first time that they got in the ring. And they make a little extra money, and some of them were actually making a little bit more money than what they regularly do in the indies, which is really sad, but it's the truth.
So just to recap there, folks, I mean, come on. You've played the video games, you've talked to your friends, and you've always envisioned these matches, these dream matches that you want to see. Imagine if you were the booker, essentially, right? Where you have a list of wrestlers that you can choose from, and you can decide what type of match they have, within reason. And by all means, you pay a fee, and you literally can watch your dream match come to life. And it's a safe and ethical way of delivering custom matches. So this is the most important piece of this puzzle here. And really, Thunder Rosa and Brian, this is why I'm so interested in what you're doing here, because I've done my research on the both of you. Forget about just our own personal conversations and me watching the way that you conduct business. I've spoken to countless people about the two of you for a number of years, and the same message keeps coming back. You folks are good business. You folks are good folks. You're not taking advantage of people. You're not a bunch of creeps. I mean, legitimately, you're ethical folks who are just running a good business. So to be able to have this custom match portion of your business where people can really get dream matches it's just so awesome. And like you said, you know, you just put out a set 2 weeks ago. You know, Thunder, you were in there with some masked man, and you know, you were going at it, what have you. And it's pretty cool to see. So, folks, I definitely encourage you to check out Mission Pro Wrestling in general, but absolutely check out their custom match section, because this is an opportunity for you to support some of your favorite wrestlers and also be in the driver's seat. You can be the booker within reason, but you can be the booker and watch a cool match that you personally came up with.
You know, the most important part again is having the customs part of Mission Pro that help us also to bring more talent, you know, bring maybe bigger names. You know, professional wrestling and running shows are very expensive. And when we book people, we're very honest and be like, this is what we can offer. And this is it. We don't want to, you know, I've been in that position, you know, and sometimes people don't book me because my fee's a little high. And I understand that, you know, but when I was at the level of like when I was in my second year, I mean, I will take less than what I asked because I wanted to be there, you know, and I want to make a difference. Like I said, I wouldn't never ask anybody to take a massive pay cut. If I can't afford them, I will just be like, I'm sorry, I can't afford you. You know, it's not that I'm being cheap. It's just I can't, you know, and that's why we want to make sure that when we have Mission Pro, like the women's of Mission Pro, that's the customs part, that really will help us to like make this business bigger, which is always ultimately what Brian and I, when we opened Sabotage, we wanted to do. You know, at the end of the day, this is a business and we want to open doors for many, many women from all over the country, because that's the only way we all going to get better, if we will work with different people. You know, especially with our local talent, which is the one that we want to like really work closely with, because that's what we did in Sabotage. And some of these ladies went to many different places and they were condecorated and some of them are signed, and, you know, and they remember, like, and they put us over because they remember that we, you know, we drove them, we trained with them, we, you know, if we knew somebody that can help them, like we hooked them up with that. It's a sisterhood, man. I always believe in sisterhood. Always, always, always. This is just my mentality from, you know, coming from the background that I come from, you know, studying in UC Berkeley, organizing walkouts with my husband, you know, and working for our community. I know that wrestling business is a different type of community, but if there's no unity within us, women, our gay ladies, our gay men, and our transgender, like, we're going to keep doing the same thing that we're doing for 100 of years, you know, which is we're like secondhand citizen. We're like the special attractions match, the 5-minute match, the bras and panties, which is nothing wrong. I mean, if you want to do it, go ahead, you know, but it's like, really? I mean, think about it. There's still a lot of big promotions. There's only one women's match. Like, seriously, it's 2020. 2020. You can pay a guy $600, but you can pay a girl that is just as talented as that guy $200 and a flight, and she probably sleeping on somebody's floor, because I've done it. After Lucha Underground, I'm gonna be completely honest, man. After Lucha Underground, sleeping in a 5-star hotel in downtown LA, I wanted to keep working because, you know, there was no work after Lucha Underground. We taped, there was no work, so I had to sleep on my Theo's with the gear makers in LA and East LA on the floor because I needed to work with Holly Dad, or we had to sleep on her car in a rest stop and take $200 because they were not going to pay my fee. I did it for so long because I want to make a name for myself, and I don't regret it, you know, because when you're so hungry, you do what you need to do. And I'm telling you, I will take care of my girls as much as I can, you know, and Robyn is going to do the same thing. Because after they work with us, they feel like their family. Ask anybody, especially the ladies here in Texas, they can tell you, like, Brian and I are like Mama and Papa Cervantes. We cook for them. Like, we try to put them in hotels together. Like, you know, when we came to Texas the first time, we drove all the girls in one car. It was like 7 of us in one van, and we had so many adventures in there. But it was because all of them believe in the vision that we had. If they didn't, they would have never drove with us or sacrifice money, sacrifice many things because they didn't believe in what we're trying to do. And it paid off. And that's the reason why we believe that this is going to work, because it's different, because we're challenging the status quo of professional wrestling. Yes, the women evolution. When is the other show for the women's evolution? Please, can you tell me? It's been 2 years. There's 60 women or 70 women on the NXT. I don't see another show, all women's show. Where is it? Why is nobody saying anything? AEW, where is the talent? Where is our show where the women are being highlighted? Come on, can somebody please tell me? And if I'm gonna get heated about this, I don't care anymore. It is 2020. We are not silent anymore. Somebody please explain to me, why do we continue to be treated the way that we're treated? And then I'm not talking about being sexualized. That's another thing. I'm talking about being treated as professional wrestlers, period. With the respect that we deserve. Oh, we should be thankful that Shimmer, Shine, and Stardom are running and WrestleCon. You should be ashamed of yourself. Because there's for many, many decades, not years, decades, women's wrestling was put on the back burner. We need more spaces. There's so many girls, and I've been myself included, be sitting on the benches watching the other girls work because there's not enough spaces for us. And that's heartbreaking. I remember Holiday Night, it was Florida. I was only booked in one show, and it was by luck. I don't remember why. Josie gave me the opportunity. That was my first WrestleCon that I wrestled, and that was the opening match. And everybody was like, why are you on, only on one show? And I just looked at them and I said, if I knew men, I will tell you. I don't know. I'm not popular enough, I guess. We need to have more spaces for women, man. There's so many up-and-comers right now. Invest on us. If you treat your women with respect and you train them well, believe me, they will stay. If they believe in professional wrestling, they will stay for years and they will make a difference. I remember I wanted to quit so bad one time. And my coach, one of my original coaches, pulled me aside and he was like, Melissa, you're not going to quit. And I'm like, no, I'm quitting. I'm like, screw this. I'm done, this is BS. Because again, from the beginning, I felt like I was kind of outcasted. I always felt like an outcast, like an outsider. Don't ask me why, but I always feel that way. He looked at me straight in the eye and shut your mouth, clean your tears, and get back in the ring. And I don't regret the fact that I cleaned my tears and got back in the ring. If you have people that believe in you and don't give up on you, believe me, you're going to create absolutely great talent.
Thunder Rosa is pouring her heart out right now, folks. And she's letting you know what's motivated her, what's driven her to be one of the biggest names in pro wrestling today. So we need to do our part now. So Thunder Rosa, please let everybody know, how can we support Mission Pro Wrestling? How can we support the Thunder Rosa brand? How can we support all of the folks that you're going to continue to help and drive this stuff?
First of all, I will say, if we're asking for spaces for women, and the women that is in your area, and there is women shows, go and support those shows. Go and see the women. Buy their merchandise. That's how we make our money. I've been in so many wonderful locker rooms with just women shows, that have been run in other states. And there's only 5 or 6, between 5 and 10 people watching the show. And some of the matches were incredible. It's heartbreaking that we don't get the support as professional wrestlers. That breaks my heart. I've seen it so many times. But that's one. Go and support live. If you don't feel comfortable, buy the pay. If there's a pay-per-view, buy it. That's another way that the promotions are making money, especially right now with the COVID. The second way that you can support us is go on missionprowrestling.net. We just uploaded our 6 first matches of our customs. You can purchase those. The description will come pretty soon. We're still building it. Next week, when we announce when we're running our show, we'll be having our tickets for pre-sale. The show will be outside just to make sure that everybody stays safe, and all the rules will come up too, because we want to make sure everybody's safety and health is first. And third of all, we are working with a very talented woman that I love from Austin, Texas. She is an amazing graphic designer. She's going to be working on our designs for our merchandise for Mission Pro, and it's going to be so amazing. And everything is going to be done on pre-sale. And all this money that we are going to make from our merchandise will be used to purchase our equipment, because again, we don't have sponsors, we don't have anything yet, and we want to make sure, like I said, we become self-sufficient and we don't owe money to anybody because it's important. It's a business, right? So as soon as we get that information, we're going to blast it everywhere, and we definitely need all your support by buying the stuff. We will be shipping it to your house. If you can come to the show in Texas, you can still buy the merchandise. And if you have any suggestions of things that you would like to see, or women that you'd like to see on the show and you'd like to sponsor them, we're more than welcome for you to sponsor them, so they can have an opportunity to come here in Texas and work not only in our show, but maybe in other shows here in this beautiful state of Texas. But yeah, go to missionprowrestling.net. All our social media is connected to our website. And also, if you want to support the Thunder Rosa brand, trademark TM, you can go on thunderrosa.net, and all my merchandise is there. My calendar is there. As far as a calendar of events, I sold out my calendar. I have T-shirts, pins, all kinds of stuff. I'm getting new masks made because, a lot of states are now, it's mandatory to wear masks. So I know you guys need masks. And other than that, just like, again, keep being positive, guys. If you see like any laws or anything like that are being put on the ballot that have to do with, equality and everything, read it, inform yourself, make sure you go vote, and just make that change that is needed in every aspect in our society. But as far as Mission Pro Wrestling goes, yeah, if we have another shoot for customs, get with your friends. We have crowdfunded. If you can't pay the whole amount, you can pay a certain amount, and then you can get those matches done for y'all. And you guys are the first people that get them. So there's ways that you can still support us and support our talent.
Before I let you folks go, hopefully, is Brian still in the room there?
He's been here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Good. Brian, I got one last question for you. How proud are you of this incredible wife of yours?
You're going to make me cry. I hate you.
I've had many instances where she wanted to quit, and wanted to give up on MMA or wrestling. And, I've always had her back 100%, no matter what anyone ever says about her or tries to break her down. Because, you always have somebody always trying to undercut you or bring you down, and I always have to keep her focused on the main agenda, It's like make it in the business. It's not about making it in a big company, but just making it on your own.
Yeah, like that's what I was telling you. When nobody gave me a chance, guess what? Brian and I, we find a way, and we make those opportunities to happen for us. I'm not gonna stop until there's nothing else for me to do. Like, seriously, like I've said this many times, but I was put in this world not only to like be successful and everything, but to make a difference in people's lives. That's what I'm here for. And I'm working so hard every single day as a woman, as a person, as a mother, as a wife, to do that, and there's days that are not very good and there's days that are great, but I cannot give up. That's how I decide to live my life. And that's what my legacy is going to be. And that's what our legacy as a family that believe in other people is going to be.
Folks, I have a feeling that for years to come, we're going to be coming back to this incredible interview with Thunder Rosa and her husband, Brian Cervantes. And a lot of the things that were discussed here, we'll be talking about this for a long time. I mean, wow. Aside from the fact that they've created an all-women's run, operated promotion, just the fact, Thunder Rosa talking about her personal experiences and things that she's seen her peers go through, and really calling out the industry to do more and to do better and to clean up this industry, make it better for everybody else, not only for the wrestlers, but for the fans and the next generation. Just really powerful stuff there. And on the heels of this speaking out hashtag on Twitter and Facebook, and all the personal anecdotes and stories that are coming out from just everybody, it's just the wrestling industry is going to change, and it's going to change for the better, just like society is. Enough is enough. The abuse, the sexism, all of that stuff, it needs to end. The racism, all of it has no place. So I appreciate Thunder Rosa. I appreciate her husband Brian, and everybody who's spoken out. You know, all the fans as well. Let's make sure we're supporting our heroes here the right way and not contributing in a negative way. That's for sure. It was heavy stuff, folks. It's really heavy stuff. And you know something, I don't want to take away from what was just said in any way. So I think I'm going to just let it rest there. You know, go back and dissect. You're probably going to have to listen to that interview a few times because there was just so much information that was put in there. Such great stuff. I mean, historical. If you ever wanted to know about Thunder Rosa's journey, there it is. If you ever wanted to know about Mission Pro Wrestling and why it has evolved into what it is and what it's going to continue to be, there it is. If you're looking for a safe and ethical customs organization to support where you can, you know, get your customs matches, well, there it is. So, again, we're going to leave it there and just continue to dissect it because there's a lot there. Wow. You know, folks, over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to have guests who are going to be sharing some very personal stuff. We do have sexual assault survivors who are in the wrestling industry. There's one wrestler in particular, and it's a guy, and he's going to share a story about being sexually assaulted by someone who he should have been able to trust as a child. Some of this stuff may be triggering, folks, so I'm just giving you a heads up. But these are conversations that really need to be had, information that needs to be shared, and you know, hopefully it empowers and helps somebody. If it can help anybody, then it's worth it. So, next couple of weeks, folks, we're going to be taking a journey here, and we're going to find solutions, right? So, check us out on Facebook, on Twitter, YouTube, all the different podcast apps and what have you. At Duke Loves Rasslin, Rasslin. Once again, thank you, Thunder Rosa. Thank you, Brian Cervantes, her husband, loving husband. And thank you, listeners. Really appreciate you. That's right. Until next week, take it away, Tony Schiavone.
Mr. Tony Schiavone, and we're desperately out of time on Duke Loves Wrestling.